Today is Monday, October 8, 2018, and you're watching OC News. On today's show, Hurricane Michael is about to make landfall as the Gulf Coast prepares for what could potentially be another devastating storm.
Many Southern Californians witnessed strange bright lights in the sky last night. We'll explain what had so many freaked out.
And later, could this be the end of Captain America? Find out which actor is retiring this iconic character after nearly a decade.
All this and more when OC News starts now.
Thank you for joining us. At OC News, I'm Myra Orozco.
And I'm Christine Romero. OC News is brought to you by the Broadcast Journalism students of Cal State Fullerton. A hurricane warning has been issued to the Gulf Coast of maximum winds of 80 mph. Currently, a category is expected to intensify and become a Category 3 or higher as it approaches to Alabama, Florida border sometime Wednesday. Now we can go with reporter Mary McConley for further details on Hurricane Michael.
We have never seen a storm
Alabama
like this
Governor Kenby, Florida Governor Rick Scott have already declared a state of emergency and have asked residents of Alabama and Florida to evacuate immediately. Florida Governor Rick Scott also stated at a new conference Monday that National Guard troops have already been activated. Nearby states like Texas are also preparing for potential dangers of flooding that Hurricane Michael will bring.
This storm will be life-threatening and extremely dangerous.
Florida Governor Rick Scott warning residents of the Gulf Coast region to get prepared. Hurricane Michael is on its way.
This storm will bring torrential rain to most of the Panhandle and Big Bend, which means flooding will be a major issue.
Currently a Category 1 storm impacting parts of Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, Hurricane Michael is expected to strengthen before it makes landfall in the U.S. Heavy rainfall and winds well over 100 miles per hour are expected.
It's forecast to grow stronger and could make landfall as a major Category 3 storm on Wednesday along the Gulf Coast.
And if landfall happens at high tide, Michael's storm surge could be anywhere between 2 and 12 feet. The coastal areas of Gulf County, Florida, have already received a mandatory evacuation order. Governor Scott says everyone else needs to make a plan.
We have to take this very seriously. Families should take this opportunity to get 3 days of food and water and make sure all medications are ready.
President Trump says FEMA and the federal government are paying attention to the storm and are also getting prepared.
As Hurricane Michael nears landfall, we urge all residents to be prepared and to heed local officials.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Other countries like Cuba, Mexico, Honduras have already felt the effects of Hurricane Michael. According to the Weather Channel, in Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador, Michael has already killed at least 13 people and has forced hundreds of their homes due to heavy flooding and landslides. That's all we have for Hurricane Michael today. Back to you, Myra.
20 people are dead after a horrific traffic accident in upstate New York. It happened Saturday afternoon about 40 miles west of the New York State capital, Albany. Officials told CNN affiliate WTN that one of the vehicles involved was a limo. Witnesses say at least 6 ambulances and 2 helicopters responded to the scene Saturday afternoon. Over the last few days, victims' families have been sharing their messages of love. Governor Cuomo reminds us that we need to cherish the relationships that we have with our loved ones.
We had a terrible traffic fatality in the capital region. Over 20 people deceased. It's one of the worst traffic accidents in the history of the state of New York. It is really tragic. It reminds us all that every day is precious. We take it for granted. You leave the house in the morning, and sometimes you never see your loved ones again.
Devastating news. This is the most deadly transportation accident in the United States since February 2009.
On a lighter note, former Vice President Joe Biden attended an invite-only event on the Cal State Fullerton campus regarding a Democratic campaign to win voters.
I'm here at Cal State Fullerton Student Union, where Democratic candidates running for a seat in the House of Representatives will be speaking. Also attending, former Vice President Joe Biden. Former Vice President Joe Biden showed his support to Democratic congressional candidates in an event at Cal State Fullerton.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm glad to be here with so many Titans. Holy mackerel.
The candidates had the opportunity to present their policies to the people invited to the event. Among these policies were the protection of health care. Eric Bauman, the chair of the California Democratic Party, said that he believes that health care is a right for every single American.
I still need a lot of medical care. And without the Affordable Health Care Act, I wouldn't be able to have the life that I've had.
Other important policies were affordable education, helping veterans, and a common sense gun legislation. Finally, all the Democratic candidates discussed the issue of immigration. They agreed to more humane immigration reforms. None of them will allow the government to keep separating families at the borders.
We need to keep families together. We need humane, comprehensive immigration reform.
Among the candidates who attended the event were T.J. Cox for District 21, Katie Porter for 45, Harley Ruda for 48, Mike Levin for 49, and Gil Cisneros for District 39. Former Vice President Joe Biden ended the event by supporting the candidates and emphasizing that the Democratic Party should take possession of Orange County in California in these upcoming elections. Biden also made reference to the importance of having an affordable education, protecting health care, and stopping the separation of families. Reporting for OC News, I'm Gracia Sanchez.
Let's go live to Genesis at Cal State Fullerton campus, where she's asking around on the importance of the first inaugural Indigenous Peoples Day.
Hi everyone, I'm Genesis reporting live in the quad area at Cal State Fullerton, where you can see behind me we actually have a tent full of Indigenous tapestry or Indigenous-based tapestry on sale. Today marks Columbus Day, or as many people refer to it as Indigenous People Day. A little history about today: Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, sailed in the 1400s on his way to Asia for the Spanish monarchy at the time. It wasn't until his third visit to the Americas that he realized it was in Asia. His discovery marked history as being the first European explorer to set foot in the Americas since the Vikings in the 10th century, who discovered Greenland. However, it also did mark the history for natives, as they saw it as the start of colonization and, of course, the disappearance of their culture due to Europeans bringing illnesses and, of course, occasional warfare with them. That's all we have for the studio. Back to you guys.
Coming up, we see what the strange light in the sky was last night.
And we hear what is going on with sports with Alex Lustig.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Listen in as Brenda Gonzalez speaks more about polio, HPV, and aspirin, these main health issues that are currently attacking the nation's heart.
Hi and welcome. Today I will be bringing you the latest in health. In the state of Minnesota, there is usually only one case of polio reported yearly. So far this year, 6 cases have been reported of a polio-like disease. All cases have been of children under the age of 10 years old. The disease is acute flaccid myelitis, known as AFM, which affects the body nervous system, specifically the spinal cord. There is no vaccine for AFM, however, there is for polio. Jim Hill's son, Quentin, is unfortunately one of the 6 that has been diagnosed with this polio-like disease.
It was September 9th. It was Sunday. We left church a little early because he was just getting some cold symptoms.
James Hill's son had symptoms that got aggressively worse until his neck and left arm were stiff. 7-year-old Quentin spent 2 weeks in the hospital getting MRIs and a spinal tap before receiving the AFM diagnosis.
Extremely emotional. Obviously, the world seemed like it was crashing down.
There is currently no cure for AFM. While the symptoms mimic polio, it is not the same. Because health officials know the disease can be associated with viruses, they recommend parents take precautions.
Good hand washing, coughing into your elbow, covering your cough, making sure if you're sick you stay home, making sure that you're up to date on your vaccinations.
The Minnesota Department of Health will study the current cases to try to determine if there is any link to a cause.
Remember to keep an eye on the health of your children to help prevent them from getting sick. The HPV vaccine was previously approved by the FDA for those between the ages of 9 to 26. Now the FDA has approved the use of HPV vaccine called Gardasil 9 for both women and men between the ages of 27 to 45. Those individuals in that age range will now have the opportunity to get the vaccine, which will help protect them against the 9 type of major HPV-related diseases. Based on the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the HPV vaccination has a potential to prevent more than 90% of these cancers, but only if taken before becoming effective. If you have been wanting to get the HPV vaccine but missed the age gap previously, now you are able to get the vaccine. A new research has found that women who have been using a low dose of aspirin for less than a year had a 23% lower risk of ovarian cancer than women who did not use aspirin. The study also found that those that heavily use non-aspirin, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories such as ibuprofen and Napoleon may have a higher risk of ovarian cancer. These findings were found by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. However, there is little evidence to conclude that aspirin does indeed help lower the risk of liver and ovarian cancer. That is all I have for health. Back to you.
My co-anchor Myra has more details on what had everyone amazed by the strange cloud of lights in the sky last night.
A space rocket lit up the sky in California. The Falcon 9 rocket launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base Sunday night. Take a look at the spectacular video posted to social media. Pictures show the rocket separating from the spacecraft behind the rocket trail. And in a first for SpaceX on the West Coast, Falcon 9's first stage landed safely at the base about 8 minutes after takeoff. The rocket went on to carry an Argentine satellite into space. With details on what's happening in postseason baseball, as well as the current NFL scores and standings, here's Alex Lustig.
Thank you, Liz. Welcome to another installment of the sports segment with no other than myself. There's nothing more exciting than a guy wearing a pink tie talking about sports. This weekend was chock full of excitement and thrillers. Let's jump right to the highlights from this past weekend. Break out the brooms because we have a sweep alert between the Brockies and the Brewers. Jesus Aguilar blasts a 418-foot homer to left field on top of the fourth, which gave the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Scott Oberg got called for a balk at the top of the sixth, which brings out Moustakis. The next thing he does, throws a wild pitch, brings in Kratz, and now the score is 4-0. Talk about a series of unfortunate events. At the top of the ninth, Arcia and Bronxton go back-to-back, which moves the Brewers up 6-0. That's the final as they celebrate and await the winners of the Dodgers series. Going into nail-biting Game 3 between the Brewers and the Braves, or Dodgers and the Braves, Robert Acuna Jr. hits a grand salami to left field and becomes the youngest player to do so at 20 years young. The other is nobody other than former Yankees Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle. In the third inning, former Cal State Fullerton alumni Justin Turner slaps a 2-run double to the third base line, which cuts down the deficit to 5-2. Then we advance to the top of the fifth inning, where Taylor smacks a 2-run moonshot, which cuts the deficit to 5-4. Mad Max, as some of his teammates so call him, whacks a solo home run to center field that ties up the game at 5 apiece. Freddie Freeman drills the go-ahead and game-winning blast to right field at the bottom of the sixth. Atlanta goes on to win by a final score of 6-5. Moving over to the NFL portion of the Browns once again find a way to win against the Baltimore Ravens. Get used to saying that, folks, because the Cleveland Browns have won more games this season than they have the past 2 years. Baker Mayfield finds Rashad Higgins for a 19-yard touchdown pass, and the Browns lead 6-3. The final seconds before halftime, Justin Turner field goal block is blocked by Denzel Ward and they lead it to half. Tucker would go on to hit the game-winning field goal in the fourth quarter, and the game goes into overtime. Let's take a listen into the final seconds of overtime. That was not the best kick, but it wins the game for Cleveland as they improve to 2-2-1 on the year. What a way to win. Talk about another clutch game winner. What an exciting game between the Giants and the Panthers late in the fourth quarter. Eli Manning finds Odell Beckham Jr. for the touchdown, but the Giants are still trailing. With a minute 15 left in regulation, Saquon Barkley's touchdown pass from Eli puts the Giants up 31-30. But what happens at the end of the game is spectacular. And that's how the Panthers win. A 63-yard missile off the foot of Graham Gano wins the game. That's all we have for this week in sports. Back to Myra and Christine behind the desk.
Breaking news just in, the Dodgers have won, and we will come back with entertainment with Leslie Gano.
And the great time Christine Romero had at Salsa last night.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let's take a look at what Leslie Cano has for us in entertainment.
Thank you, ladies. Yes, we have a lot in store for you today. Let's get to it. Chris Evans has hung up his shield as Captain America after playing the iconic role for 8 years. He tweeted, "Officially wrapped on Avengers 4. It was an emotional day, to say the least, playing this role over the last 8 years, and it has been an honor. To everyone in front of the camera, behind the camera, and in the audience, thank you for the memories. Eternally grateful." Evans was first cast as Captain America in 2010. The 37-year-old's final performance in the role, Avengers 4, opens in theaters next May. Chance the Rapper has pledged $1 million towards mental health services in Chicago. He took the stage at a public school to make the big announcement.
I'm proud to announce that I'm pledging $1 million towards mental health services in Chicago.
The new initiative by Chance, called My State of Mind, aims at creating a modern resource for Chicago residents to learn about and access mental health services. And that's not all. Chance's partnership with Chicago's public schools gets even better. He also announced that 20 schools will be receiving $100,000 each for the next 3 years. Shout out to Chance for donating back to his community. Saturday Night Live was quick to react to Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation this past weekend. The second episode of the show's 44th season wasted no time addressing the excitement and disappointment felt by the Senate members on Saturday. Let's take a look.
Mitch, how are you feeling?
That was awesome! Woo!
Do you feel like this is a win you can be proud of?
Oh, hell yeah, Dana. Republicans read the mood of the country, and we could tell that people really wanted Kavanaugh. Everyone's pumped, from white men over 60 to white men over 70.
All right, that's it for your entertainment recap for this week. Let's take it back to Christine and Myra.
This past weekend, Christine put her dancing shoes on and headed over to Santa Ana and attended salsa night. Let's take a look.
We're in the city of Santa Ana tonight, where the lights are glowing and the dancing is happening. Tonight, celebrating bachata and salsa night. The salsa event kicked off in the heart of downtown Santa Ana with a complimentary class, which did not require anyone to have a partner in order to join.
This event gives people the opportunity to learn basics of salsa, and for those who already know salsa, it helps them add practice to different routines.
It's a multicultural thing. I feel like with a lot of people dance, it's a way for us to express ourselves, have community, connect with other people, and also, it's exercise too. So I feel like it's a really positive vibe where people can really connect with each other.
And for the people who attend this event, it's much more to them than just dancing.
It's one of the few dances where you get to dance individually and together at the same time and express your musicality.
This event occurs on the 1st of every month. So if you didn't get a chance to attend this month, no worries, because November is right around the corner.
Thank you for watching us here at OC News. Keep updated on our social media handles at OC News CSUF as we all attend university.org.
Tune in next week as we cover more updated stories and sports highlights. I'm Myra Orozco.
And I'm Christine Romero. Good night.
OC News is sponsored in part by Univision Communications, Southwest Airlines, and Casanova McCann.